Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry met with the United Nations Special Envoy to Libya, Jan Kubis, to discuss developments in the Libyan crisis and ways to reach a political solution. Shoukry reviewed Egypt's efforts to achieve political settlement in Libya, stressing the need to complete the current political track by holding a meeting with the House of Representatives to discuss forming the government, ending with holding the elections according to constitutional rules. The foreign minister also emphasized that all parties must implement the terms of the ceasefire agreement, especially with regards to the expulsion of foreign forces and mercenaries from Libya, as well as the importance of confronting any attempts that would impede the unification of Libyan security institutions or perpetuate division. Egypt's top diplomat reviewed Egypt's efforts related to pushing the economic path, which has led to a package of measures in the interests of the Libyan people, with an emphasis on the need for economic reforms to coincide with an effective political framework to ensure the way forward to comprehensively settle the Libyan crisis. Kubis briefed Shoukry on the results of his meeting with various parties concerned with the Libyan crisis and reviewed his vision in this respect. He also expressed his appreciation towards Caira's position in support for a political solution in Libya and his desire to continue the pace of cooperation between both sides. It's worth mentioning that Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry urged all Libyan parties to abide by the permanent ceasefire agreement, especially concerning the withdrawal of all foreign forces and mercenaries from Libya.
Right, welcome back, and back to you, Ambassador Khattab. And we were speaking about the Nile Basin countries and a life that gather us all together. We've just seen a visit by President Sisi to Sudan, just a few days, and definitely Sudan is our
major partner.
I mean, we share the same history.
Absolutely.
For thousands of years. So if I say a brother, I don't know if this is enough. But how did you view the visit of President Sisi to our brothers in Sudan?
This is the most pleasant breakthrough I have seen since 30 years. What happened was absolutely abnormal since Bashir took over, and we have such a dark area of relation between our brothers. Nobody could imagine even for a minute what happened since he took over. Definitely President Mubarak took a position since what happened against him in Addis Ababa, which is normal. I mean, they were not attacking the Mubarak himself. They were attacking the president of Egypt. So the meaning of that was
but that wasn't
blocking. But it had blocked the relation, which is more than essential between two brother countries.
Yes.
So when now President Sisi is restoring this by putting his foot back in Khartoum, it is one of the greatest achievements I ever believed as a politician. This is a major step to have our home back home to Egypt again, and we believe that this is a very, very important turning point on the historical relation between the two countries. This is generally speaking, as you mentioned, what is my impression? This is my impression that this is a major breakthrough for Egypt international and regional relations with Sudan.
The agenda of the talks that the president carried with was based on several steps Egypt has been taking during the past period in order to help Sudan restore its security, stability, particularly during the transitional period. What was the agenda? What were the main points?
First of all, it was a kind of expressing to our brothers Sudanese that Egypt is always believed that we are one country, and we will remain in that issue, helping our brothers on the south, whatever they need, whatever they want, we'll do our best to help. Who put an end to the crisis during the rains and the floods like 3 months ago?
Yes, yes. But that is the duty of brothers, as we said. But the agenda
the agenda is based on the needs of the Sudanese during this period. The Sudanese have suffered a lot of 30 years of boycotting by the Western countries headed by America. So now Egypt have made a great effort to release Sudan from the
terrorism list.
Yes, yes. And now we are moving towards economic problems, security problems. They need our experience, they need our help, and we are there to help. I mean, of course, economic-wise, we are aiming
yes, yes,
right now to make the roads, to make the railway station, railways
We're
between.
cooperating in order to achieve economic integration.
Absolutely, absolutely. Which all these steps will lead to more economic and solid integration on the near future to the Sudanese brothers.
But also there were strategic and important other points that the president carried.
Of course, of course. The president is always aiming for a global bilateral relations, and Sudan is on the top of that. So his visits always discussing different issues, among them the strategic position of the bilateral between the two countries. So definitely it was discussed, but not everything to be said on that issue. But make sure that the bilateral relation between Egypt and Sudan is going to a new area, which will make a hell of difference to the last few years.
Yes. When we speak about Sudan, then we have also to speak about Libya. The report was speaking about Libya, and Egypt has been committed to the peace and security of the whole continent at large.
Definitely.
Definitely, part of that was the Egyptian efforts.
You see here the difference that, of course, we are very, very concerned about the security of the Libyan state. But they are still economically wise, they are strong, they can afford their problems to face. But the problem with Sudan is there is a failure in security, in economics, in a lot of areas which Sudanese are in much more need of the Egyptian presence and attitude towards them on the rather than the Libyan. Libya is only the security issue, and Egypt is focusing to gather the Libyans to reunited their country and face their own problems, and then we let it go because they can afford their economic problems in their own. They don't need. So it's a different attitude. Here is security. Here is integration.
Right. When we spoke about Sudan,
I do agree with you that there is a security problems facing the Libyans and threatening Egyptians, but that is only in that issue.
If we are speaking about Libya in particular, then we have to say that Egypt has played a very big role in getting all Libyan together, particularly of some of the tribes meetings that took place here in Egypt, right?
Sure.
How far do you think that Egypt went on with its efforts in Libya until they've been able recently to find a political consensus on a political solution?
It is hard because the Libyans let another regional forces to intervene in their life and in their future. And the Egyptian step was to stop that intervening on threatening the east of Libya and then Egypt, of course. So what I mean is, in a certain stage, we were leaving the Libyans decide themselves. And when we find that it became a dangerous game, and then the president has to take measures and stop that intervention, which is threatening the Egyptian territory and Egyptian future. So, as I mentioned to you before, it's only how to secure the situation in Libya and let the Libyans get together and solve their problems in their own.
Actually, Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry was meeting with the UN envoy to Libya.
Yes.
And he spoke about the importance of the commitment of, or that the international body would make sure that the Libyan parties all commit to the ceasefire, the expulsion of the mercenaries and the foreign troops out of Libya, as you said. Right. Here, when I'm speaking about the Egyptian support to the peace and security of Libya, how far do you think that Egypt has been working for a political solution inside Libya during the past period and even up till this minute?
We were working hardly with some other Arabian countries' efforts, like Morocco, for instance. Parallel, we took a part of the game, security, regathering the Libyan partners, and putting a future plan to gather them together. And I don't think that it came from here. Egypt was never absent to the Libyan theme, but I mean, we have to coordinate the efforts between countries like Tunis, like Algeria, like Morocco, like Egypt, and then you look to the international partners as well, Italy, France. All these countries are playing roles in Africa for their interest. But what I can assure you that Egypt have played a major role to gather the different parts of the political parts of Libya. Several times we agreed to give them a good compromise to get out of this crisis, like we did with the Palestinians. I mean, Egypt is working on all things. So it's a horrible job, but this is your destiny. You cannot let this or that work alone, and your borders are threatening. I mean,
yes. Since we brought up the issue of mercenaries and outside those who are interfering in our domestic affairs, I mean here in the Arab domestic affairs, then we have to also bring up the issue of terrorism.
Of
terrorism.
Yes.
Because Egypt has been working on the file of terrorism and has been enduring a lot from this particular file. How do you view Egypt's efforts in combating terrorism in Egypt and the African continent at large?
Sharing on the African Union peacekeeping force, teaching the Africans le lutte contre terrorisme, making a consultation, permanent consultation with our colleagues on the African countries, supplying them with forces and ammunition most of the time they need, having intelligence programs to the African security bodies. All this, as I told you, Egypt is doing this above reasons. I mean, when you talk
Definitely.
Yeah, so it's generally speaking, it's a common effort. But Egypt is playing a major role on that issue to their brothers in Africa.
Finally, here, if I may speak about challenges facing Africa at this upcoming stage, and how do you view the role of Egypt in managing those challenges?
Unemployment, corruption. I'm telling you this from my own experience of being, as I told you, like 4 posts in Africa. And I see this illegal immigration to Europe basically because of the unemployment in their own countries. They don't have a future, so they flee. So that's why Egypt is focusing now with the European Union and international bodies that it's not to prevent Africans to come to Europe, but to help the Africans to stay in their countries, even with supplying each family with a sewing machine, even help the new generation to establish their own trade, like $600 to each family. So if I am happy, if I'm finding a job, even with a little bit of profit in my own country, I will never risk to go to Libya and pay thousands of dollars to cross the Mediterranean to face another problems reaching Italy or reaching Greek
Illegal migration.
For the illegal immigration. So the Egypt is training Africans in programs and supplying the Europeans with data about the needs of the African continent to stop those people going out of their homes. And of course, we are having here more than 6 million refugees living in Egypt in a very normal circumstance, not in camps, not in prisons. I mean, so every effort possible to do, we are trying. We are trying. It's a big problem. It's not only Egypt suffering. Even the Europeans are suffering from the problem. So it's not one night solution can solve this problem.
Right.
We had the international conference for illegal immigration.
Yes.
We have some good results. We are working on it.
Yes. I guess that we are moving with very solid steps towards the future
Absolutely.
of Africa.
Absolutely.
Ambassador Ahmed Khattab, Home Assistant and Foreign Minister, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Dear viewers, many thanks for watching. Tomorrow will be another debate with another colleague. Good night.